Hello, I'm back with you. I just watched a video that Tom Voight uploaded to YouTube. The video is about the death of Cheri Bates and Cecilia Sheppard. It's a very lengthy video, and there's no real new information in there except for one thing, and that's basically what this video is going to be about. One of the unknown facts in the case, which now makes it even more understandable to me about Frank's confession to me about that murder, which again, he never said he killed anybody, but you know, we played with her and we did this and we did that. I've told you before, and there's a whole chapter in it on my book, My Dance with the Zodiac Killer. I sure wish you would get a copy. It's available online, and it really tells the story of the Zodiac Killer and a bunch of other things too. I mean, I knew the guys, okay, that did these murders. They spent a lot of time trying to kill me too. Know something, Zodiac, I'm still here. But the new information on Tom Voight's very lengthy video is that, well, originally it was stated in the press that Cheri had went out to her car and then was walked down a dark road. There's a chapter in my book on the dark road. I walked down that road with the Zodiac Killer, but I'm still here because I managed to find a way out of it. But, you know, I can imagine how she felt. And so helpless, being a small female and having 3 grown men around her and her not knowing what to do. According to what came out in the press, after they took Cheri from her car and walked her down the dark road a short distance, they cut her throat. Well, I've always wondered about that, because that's not the way Frank operates. Although I know he did this murder because he told me about it, showed me pictures of it, and showed me a picture of the Zodiac watch that they left at the scene. He did admit that he left that watch, and he didn't say I, he said we, because he was talking about himself and the Anglin brothers. We left that there to confuse people. And I'm like, wait a minute, you just told me that you weren't involved in this thing. No, we weren't involved, but you know, you leave things in places to confuse people. And you know, he'd talk around it. The guy was a genius. He could make you believe whatever he wanted. But anyhow, it turns out on Tom Voight's video that he just put out that there was a 3-hour period between the time they picked her up at her vehicle. And if you don't know, Frank pulled and he did admit to me to this, that he had opened the hood and pulled the distributor wire out of her car so that it wouldn't start, and asked me if I understood what that would do to a car in terms of making it turn over and over and over and not start, and he laughed about that for some reason. And I told him, yeah, I understand because I work on cars and everything. And then he, you know, danced around the whole thing to keep from talking about the murder. But I do recall that he said that they took her from there. And taking someone, to Frank, usually meant, when he said that, it meant that he was killing him. Now, I've figured that out over the years by, you know, studying different things about this guy. But in this case, when I asked him, you know, where did you take her? And he goes, no, we just took her and had some fun with her. And I recall that I felt that they had gone out to a bar or something like that. And I think I asked him that, did you guys go out and drink or something? Yeah, we did some drinking, all right. Because he was getting drunk, and, you know, him and the Anglin brothers, while they were killing her. Anyway, the new information that has never come out before, I've never heard it and never stumbled across it before, is that according to the actual autopsy report that Tom Voight was able to get his hands on, Cecilia Sheppard was stabbed 42 times before she had her throat cut. Now, that fits Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers, because they derive sexual pleasure from torturing and murdering people. But the torture part just made their sexual pleasure last longer. There's a lady that they tortured for about a week over on Minnehaha Street where I used to live. I've told you something about that. I need to make a video on that lady. She was schizophrenic, and they got in her house. They ended up killing her and burying her under the house. Anyway, I'll go into those details later. They never got caught, because when the cops would come up there, they wouldn't make any noise, and the cops couldn't break into their house, into her house, to get her out of there. But the neighbor kept calling them, and anyway, this 42 stabs just fits everything, that because Frank said that they went and had some fun with her, and that's what having fun with somebody meant. Torture, which usually meant stabbing and cutting them up. And then they brought her back. I'm thinking they brought her back and then cut her throat and threw her on the ground there by the car, so that the police would find her, because this is one of Frank's murders that he wanted publicized. Tom Voight, for some strange reason, believes that this series of murders of 4 or 5 that were ever made public were the only ones that he did, and I think he said that the Cecilia Sheppard murder was the last one that he ever did. And I've told you before, Frank killed at least 25,000 people all over America and Mexico, and they're all buried in shallow graves, and I know where some of the graves are at. You know, I mean, it's amazing to me that evil people can get by with such things and not get caught. But when you think about it, if you understand the law enforcement system like Frank did, I guess he learned how to work around it and, you know, win every time he would play the game. Imagine this poor girl 3 hours of being tortured with a knife, and then having her throat cut and thrown on the ground after she's so weak and bled out and everything that she can't fight back. And they did this to thousands of people, thousands and thousands of people. You know, I estimate 25,000, but it could be 5 times that much, because sometimes they kill 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people a day, according to some of the reports that I've got from people who were in the areas where the murders were happening, and other things that I've seen on their different things that Frank drew and sent to the police and different things. Well, I just hope this helps you to better understand these cases, and hopefully it will lend some more credence or reality to the things that I tell you, because, you know, I still get trolled every day by idiots that watch 2 minutes of one 10-minute film of mine, video of mine, and then think they have all the answers on what I'm up to. You know, I'm going to tell you all again, I have not made a dime off of my book or off of any of these videos. I'm probably $20,000 to $25,000 in the hole, borrowed money that I still haven't paid back, that I used to get all of this put together so I could bring this information to you. And I want you to know that if you think that it's important enough to me to spend $25,000 on to lie to you about this and make it up, I mean, you don't have an IQ. My subscribers have an IQ. They have very good IQs, and they spend a lot of time studying my videos, because really, this is a PhD, college PhD lesson in Zodiac Killer, because it's so complicated. I have 100 videos on YouTube now about this, and every one of them contains different content, and each one refers back to the other one, so that you'll know that my story is true. Do you think I watch 100 videos before I make another video? No, I turn on the camera and I start filming the video, because I'm telling you the truth. I was there, and these are life events for me. I don't have to remember a bunch of things to try and keep from my lies from crossing each other, because I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth. Well, y'all have a good day, and, you know, give me some thumbs up if you can. If you know anybody that's interested in the real story, subscribe. If you got any comments and you're interested in more things about this particular murder or whatever, you know, go ahead and ask them. And thank you very much, those of you who are really interested in this case.